how many pages should my resume have? So yes, how many pages should my resume have? So it depends, and I think I kind of touched on this last time, but your resume, most people believe in just a one-page resume. And I think I've said this before, that I don't necessarily feel like people should just have one page on their resume. If you have more information that goes into 2 pages, then 2 pages is an appropriate resume. Rarely should you want to go past that. A resume is a snapshot, a moment in time. So your resume, you want to make sure you're highlighting your best skills, your best foot forward on the resume for the job that you are applying for. So a resume does not have to be one page. Let that go. A lot of people, that's what they preach. One page resume. A resume does not have to be one page. So I have a question on here. It says, can you include blogs as part of your work experience? Absolutely. Yes, you can and should. If you blog, if you vlog, so video log, either one of those, you can put that on your resume, especially if it relates to the job that you're going after. So if you're going after a job of something that you blog about, so if you blog about maybe mental health, or if you blog about nutrition and you are going for a job that has to do with mental health or nutrition, yes, absolutely. Put that on your resume. Put that as not only under your work experience, but also some of your skills, some of your abilities that you're able to do. So you want to make sure that you include it there as well. Because if you list it as just your work experience, unless you're blogging or vlogging for the company that you work for now, then you can't put it under there. So you can't say, I'm blogging for Rocket Employment if you're not a Rocket Employment employee. So if you're doing that on the side or in addition to, then you either want to say, I'm doing it under this. So if you have your own company and you're doing your blog or you're doing your vlog under that, you can list it there. You can also list it under your skills that you have to highlight, because that's important. Should you add the link to the site? So yes, you can add the link to the site so that the person can go and find it when they search. So you can add the link to the site on your resume. Also, for those people who have LinkedIn, put it on your LinkedIn too, because that's important information. So your resume and your LinkedIn should be friends. So if I look at your LinkedIn and it's way different from your resume, then there's a problem. So your resume, your LinkedIn should be best friends and have most of the same, if not all, the same information. So the information that you put on your resume also needs to be on your LinkedIn. If you're going to put a link on your resume, you also need to put the link on your LinkedIn as well to the blog site that you develop. How do I highlight a skill that relates to the job that I'm applying for? So what you want to do is, when you're looking for a job, you go to the job description, you see what skills on that job description matches what you have. You want to make sure if it doesn't, and you have those skills, and I think that's the most important thing that I want to make sure I'm saying on here, that if you have those skills, you need to add it to your resume. So you can add it to either your abilities or your the summary, or if you're doing it in your current job or the job you had before, but you didn't call it that, you can add it there. But you definitely want to make sure that you highlight that on your resume for any job that you're applying for. So should I take a copy of my resume and print out my application to the interview? Again, yes, you always want to bring a copy of the resume with you when you go to an interview. You should have more than one copy, actually, because you don't know how many people you're going to be interviewing with. So you should always have more than one copy of your resume. A neat copy, so it's not crumpled up. Hopefully you have it in some type of a folder or something so it looks professional, or binder so that it looks professional when you hand it out. You don't want to just pull it out your purse, just a sheet of paper, or pull it out, your back pocket. You want to come in and it's professional. The reason why you want to have more than one copies is because you don't know how many people you're going to be interviewing with. So I would suggest have 3 copies, to bring in 3 copies. For the application, I would not print out the application unless they ask you to. If they ask you to print out the application and bring it in, then that's what you need to do. Outside of that, I would not recommend printing out the application and bringing that in with you. Now, speaking of applications and resumes, a lot of times people will notice that you apply for a job online using your resume. So you send in your resume and then you get a bounce back or a notification that they want you to fill out the application. And a lot of people are like, why? It's the same information. Why do I have to do this again? They get frustrated and they get aggravated. So I'm going to explain why people want you to fill out an application, employers. For a resume, on your resume, there's no statement on there when you send in a resume that that information is true. You can put people put whatever. So you can put whatever on your resume, with education, years of experience, all kind of things I've seen on resumes. True or not, that I've seen on resumes. It doesn't necessarily have to be true, although it's supposed to be true. It doesn't have to be true. When you fill out an application and you sign the bottom saying that as far as you know, the information on this application is true. So if you put any lies on this application, you could be fired because you're signing saying this information is true. So if I go and audit your application, I hire you, I audit it 3 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now, and you said you had this type of experience on here or this type of education, and in reality you don't, you can be fired because you lied. And you could, because on the application you signed the bottom saying that this information is true. When you just send in your resume, you're not saying this information is true at all. You're just sending them a resume. I could take anybody's resume, white out their name and put my name on top of it and present it as mine. And unfortunately, some people do that. Some people exaggerate on their work experience, exaggerate on how long they've been employed, exaggerate on their education. I remember working with clients who thought that they didn't finish college, but they put that they had a degree on the resume, and that's fraud. So you can't do that. So the reason why you want to, employers want you to fill out an application is because you're signing saying that that information on the resume is true. I want to remind everybody that if you haven't already bought the 90 Days to Employment Journal, get it now. If you or a friend of yours or you know somebody or a family member is looking for a job, the 90 Days to Employment Journal, every Wednesday at 4 p.m., we go live on Instagram to answer all your HR questions. And see you at the next video.